Imagine this. It's 2:13 a.m. Your eyes burn, your thumb keeps scrolling, and a quiet thought hits you. If I keep living like this, I already know exactly how my life will look in 10 years. Now imagine your phone lights up, and there's a new message. Not from a friend. From a contact you never added. Future me, you laugh for half a second. Then a calm voice that sounds like you, older, steadier, whispers, "I've watched the life you're sleepwalking into. I wrote you 3 letters so you don't end up there." Each letter carries a piece of ancient wisdom from the samurai. One for the night, one for the morning, and one for the promises you keep when no one is watching. If you click away, you'll go back to the same loop that quietly convinces you you're not the kind of person who can change. But if you stay, you'll hear the version of you who already broke that loop and is asking you for one small, doable step today. Chapter 1. The Night of Preparation. He was 34, sitting in an office that felt less like a career and more like a waiting room for a life that never called his name. His calendar was full. His energy was gone. On the train home, the first letter arrived. Letter 1. I'm writing this from a world where you don't wake up tired anymore. He scoffed. You probably would too. Your future self didn't lecture. He just described the reality he was living. You think your day begins when the alarm goes off. It doesn't. It begins the night before. Images flashed through his mind, falling asleep with a phone inches from his face, answering emails at midnight to get ahead, then wondering why mornings felt like drowning. Then came the first samurai lesson. A samurai doesn't sharpen his sword in the middle of battle. He prepares in the quiet hours, so when the sun rises, he's ready. He wasn't asked for a new life, just a new night. No phone in bed. Last meal at least 3 hours before sleep. Lights low. 1 page of a book instead of 100 swipes of a feed. That was it. No perfect routine. Just conditions that made rest possible. That night, he lay in softer darkness, mind protesting, hands restless without the screen. But he stayed. The next morning, something small but important happened. He woke up. And for 1 second, he didn't hate the day. When you respect the battle of tomorrow, you treat tonight like preparation, not escape. Your future self's first letter is simple. Give me one better night, and I'll give you a different morning to stand on. Chapter 2. The Morning Bow. A week later, the second letter landed in his inbox. Letter 2. This is from a morning where you're not already behind. Right now, the first thing you bow to each morning is your phone. You wake up reacting, behind, full of other people's noise before your feet touch the floor. Then came the second samurai lesson. In the dojo, the bow at the beginning decides how you will move. Your phone cannot be your first bow. Your future self described a different kind of morning. Not cinematic, just deliberate. Wake at the same time each day. Don't sprint. Sit at the edge of the bed, feet on the ground. 1 deep breath. Open the window. Let real light touch your eyes. Drink water. Walk for 5 minutes. Then sit in silence for 5 more. No shouted affirmations. No productivity hacks. Just one rule. Before the world speaks into you, let yourself arrive. The next morning, the old pattern tried to drag him back. Alarm, panic. Hand reaching for the phone. He caught himself on 1 sentence. Your phone cannot be your first bow. He paused, sat up, feet on the floor. 1 slow inhale. 1 slow exhale. He opened the blinds. Cold morning light spilled into the room. He walked once around the block. No headphones. No podcast to maximize the walk. When he sat down at his desk an hour later, nothing about his work had changed. But the day felt less like an enemy and more like a room he could walk into on his own terms. When you change what you bow to in the first 10 minutes of the day, the rest of the day quietly rearranges itself around you. In a few seconds, we'll open letter 3, the one that explains why you keep breaking big promises to yourself, and how samurai philosophy turns that shame into quiet self-trust again. Chapter 3. The Blade of Self-Trust. Weeks passed. He wasn't perfect. Some nights, the phone crept back into bed. Some mornings, his hand went straight to the screen. But his life began to feel less like an emergency and more like a training ground. Then, one evening at his kitchen table, letter 3 arrived. Letter 3. I'm writing this from a life where you actually trust yourself. He almost laughed. He had a graveyard of promises behind him. Future. You didn't flatter him. You don't need more motivation, the voice said calmly. You're already addicted to that. Motivation gives you the feeling of progress, without the cost of change. Then came the third samurai lesson. A samurai doesn't swear loud oaths before battle. His promise lives in the thousands of quiet cuts he's practiced alone. No more new life speeches. No more grand declarations about who you'll be next month. Pick one small thing. Every day, do it today. Do it again tomorrow. Do it when it's boring. Do it when you don't feel like it. Do it when nobody sees. Your only job is to become the kind of person who does what he quietly said he would do. He chose writing. 10 minutes. Not a novel, not a career, just words on a page. The first days were awkward, annoying, easy to forget. But he kept the promise. Clumsy, imperfect, often at the last minute. There was no applause. Yet after a few weeks, something shifted. I'll do it later didn't automatically sound like a lie anymore. In the mirror, he didn't only see a man who bailed on himself. He saw someone trying and continuing. That shift followed him into the gym, where training became routine instead of seasonal, into conversations, where he stopped saying what people wanted to hear, into his work, where projects finally crossed the finish line. Every small promise he kept was like sending a letter forward in time. I will be there when you arrive. In a moment, you'll see how these 3 letters add up to a different version of you, walking through the same life, and how to write the first line of your own letter tonight. Chapter 4. The week you think you lost it all. Then came the test. A brutal week fell out of nowhere. Deadlines moved up, a project collapsed. An unexpected bill hit his account. Sleep shrank. Old habits slipped back in. The evening routine, the morning bow, the 10 minutes of writing, all dropped. He scrolled, he binged. The voice of your future self went quiet. One morning, he sat on the edge of his bed, phone in his hand, shame pressing down on his chest like armor he couldn't remove. See, his old story whispered. You haven't changed. It was all temporary. This is who you really are. Most journeys end here, not in failure, but in the quiet decision that failure is your true self. That's when the final message arrived. The person you're becoming, the older, calmer you said softly, is not the one who never falls. He's the one who returns. You think you erased your progress? You didn't. The path is still there. You just stepped off it for a while. So today, don't promise me a perfect streak. Don't swear you'll never miss again. Just come back. One night, one morning, one small promise. He wanted a massive vow, a flawless comeback. Instead, he did something small. He stood up. He opened the blinds. He let the light in. He wrote for 10 minutes. No epic soundtrack. Just a human being quietly stepping back onto his own path. That is the deepest samurai lesson of all. Fall 7 times, stand up 8. Doesn't mean you become unbreakable. It means you decide that returning is part of your identity. Months later, he walked down the same street where he'd first seen future me appear on his phone. Same building, same sky, same city. But he was not the same. He slept like a person, not a blinking notification. He woke with a plan, not a panic. His days still had problems, but they were no longer proof he was failing, they were training. The most surprising part wasn't outside, but inside. The calm voice that once felt like someone else, now felt like his own. Your future self is not a fantasy version of you. He is built one night, one morning, one kept promise at a time. Tonight, before you sleep, don't swear you'll change your whole life tomorrow. Just pick one promise small enough that you cannot reasonably break it. Say this sentence to your future self: I will meet you there. Then keep that promise today. Keep it again tomorrow. And with every quiet repetition, you are writing your own letters from the future. Every line saying the same thing: I'm on my way.